Ladies and gentlemen, my greetings goes to you all. My name is Ninela. I'm doing my BSc in Animal Sciences at the University of Zululand. I'm going to be taking you guys on plants and photosynthesis. It started with a big bang. Then we had our bedrock, which was too cold. We had our static atmosphere and static ocean, which was too hot. Still, the Earth was not habitable. Then we had our moving atmosphere and an ocean, and a moving ocean, which gave us our weather and our climate. But that was not enough. Then we had continents drifting, giving us different climate changes in different areas. Like climate from here in South Africa is not the same as in the US, the continental drifting. We now have a baroque, a static atmosphere, a static ocean, a moving atmosphere, a moving ocean. Continents have drifted. But how do we know that Earth is habitable? By adding life. We're going to classify plants, learn their morphology. We're going to talk about photosynthesis, oxygen catastrophe, and why South Africa is a special place. Because it is. The cycle of life. It begins in water, and it began in water with the first photosynthesizing bacteria, which was the cyanobacteria, bringing about the birth of land plants that provides us with oxygen and food. Now, it starts with plants with the extension of food chains. About 2.5 billion years ago, they lived a first photosynthesizing bacteria, which was the cyanobacteria. It occupied the habitat of the ocean. Since it is photosynthesizing, it produced oxygen. Well, as it multiplied because of the favorable conditions in the ocean, more oxygen was produced. More oxygen occupied the ocean, causing the ocean to be saturated with oxygen. Now the excess of oxygen was able to escape to the atmosphere. Mind you, inland there are anaerobic organisms which knew nothing about oxygen and how to survive with this oxygen. Well, it became toxic because no organism could stand oxygen except for the producer of oxygen, which was the cyanobacteria. Now, organisms began to die. Mind you, anaerobic organisms, causing about the first biggest mass extinction ever. Well, I thought that we as organisms of nowadays, we're gonna cause the first biggest mass extinction, but then guess what? Cyanobacteria bit us to it. What a shame. Now, as the time goes by, oxygen began to evolve. Together with other gases in the atmosphere, it helped in the production or in the birth of the ozone layer. Now we can be supported as life. Now we can be protected from the ultraviolet rays from the sun. Can we now say that Earth is not habitable? Well, a plant is a living organism that can grow inland, in water, and on other plants. We can say they are multicellular and eukaryotic. By eukaryotic, I mean they can manufacture their own food. We can see how. And we have our trees, our grasses, our flowers, our crops, from the potatoes to the tomatoes to the strawberries, and so on and so forth. Plants originated from a cyanobacteria in a protozoa, which gave birth to the green plants. Then in our green plants, we find our charophytes, our chlorophytes. Then we have our land plants, which we have mosses, our hornworts. We have our vascular plants that gives us horsetails, club mosses. Then we have seed plants. In seed plants, we have gymnosperms and flowering plants. In flowering plants, we have our monocots and our dicots. Then in gymnosperms, we have our conifers, our cycads. Now, how can I tell that this is a plant? Well, first, we have two systems to look at, the root system and the stem system. In the root system, we look at the roots. Then in the stem system, we look at the stem, the flower, the fruits, and that particular organism, the leaves. Then we now can say that, oh, this is the plant. Plants are classified as from the domain Eukaryota, from kingdom Plantae, and they are divided into green algae and land plants. Well, there are two types of plants that are inside the kingdom Plantae and plants that are outside the kingdom Plantae. Well, plants that are outside the kingdom Plantae, they are called plants because they have functions that makes them to function as plants, like our seaweeds from the ocean. Then we have our plants inside kingdom Plantae with the green algae and the land plants. Plants provide us with food, which provides us with energy and can be used for medicinal use and also for witchcraft. Like I'm from KZN. Well, they say if you deal with a KZN person, that person will deal with you traditionally. I'm joking. Well, they are a backbone of a habitat since organisms need to eat. Like an organism that needs to occupy a certain habitat will have to see what type of vegetation or what type of plants occupies that certain habitat. So that, as I said, plants provide us with food. So that organism will be provided with food. We have our crops that we plant and we sell. Our potatoes, our tomatoes, our maize, our sugar canes, our fruits, our mangoes and whatnot. Well, we sell them for economy, right? To get money. And we buy crops as well. They purify water in what way? They take nutrients from water, especially in the soil, leaving water clean. Well, gentlemen, please be gentlemen, since they are flowers that smell like chocolate, and they're called Cosmos anthrosanguineus. Well, do you want to be a romantic person? These flowers are for you. Well, did you know that 85% of plant life is found in the oceans? Well, life began in the ocean with the first photosynthesizing bacteria, the cyanobacteria. Well, I have been saying plants provide food, which provides us with energy. But how do plants make their own food? Plants are eukaryotic, meaning they provide or they are able to manufacture their own food through the process of photosynthesis, which photo means light. Synthesis means be able to. Okay, what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is the process of where plants, some bacteria, and some protozoa are able to manufacture their own food using carbon dioxide as their requirement, water as well, in the presence of light and chlorophyll, producing glucose, the oxygen that we breathe, and water. Well, where does it occur? Oh, yeah, it occurs in the chloroplast of the leaf, in the presence of these green pigments called the chlorophyll, which captures the sunlight. Ne? There are types of photosynthesis, since we have different species of plants. So different photosynthesis needs to happen in different species of plants. like from in plants with 3 carbons, 4 carbons, and chem plants. Plants, photosynthesis that happens in the C3 plants. Okay, photosynthesis occurs well, so photosynthesis that occurs in C3 plants, well, what plants do is they fix carbon in the Calvin cycle, they attach the CO2. In C4 plants, they fix carbon in the cytoplasm, still attaching the CO2. Then, in the chem plants, they fix carbon at night, only at night. They fix it to organic molecules. Well, there are 2 stages of photosynthesis, the light-dependent reaction and the Calvin cycle. Well, the light-dependent reaction depends on the light, or they depend on the sunlight. And then the rays hit the leaf, the chlorophyll traps the energy or the rays from the sun and the chloroplast, and then producing our oxygen and the food. Now, in the carbon cycle, a photosynthesis occurs during the night or during the dark. They don't need any light. But both these stages, they happen in the presence of chlorophyll. No chlorophyll, no photosynthesis. Photosynthesis maintains the atmosphere in what way? By trapping carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen production. They also provide food for plants, which provide food to us as fruits and as vegetables sometimes. South Africa is a special place to study botany and agronomy, which are the studies of plants, because we have our own endemic species, which are unique to South Africa. I mean, they are found nowhere else. And we are in the 6th floral kingdom, which is in Cape Town. We have our botanical gardens. One of them is in KwaZulu-Natal, in Durban. I mean, we have our own flower, the protea. It is in the emblem of our cricket national team. So South Africa is pretty much special to me. We need to conserve plants. We need to protect plants. We need to preserve plants. We need to follow the rule of planting a tree. Plant a tree, plant a tree. Why are we planting these trees? I mean, they provide us with oxygen. They trap the carbon dioxide and give us the oxygen that we breathe. They provide us with food from our crops, our tomatoes, our potatoes, our fruits, our bananas. They also purify water. They also stop erosion or prevent soil erosion. So why wouldn't you protect, preserve, conserve a plant that will provide you with all of these things? I would. In our next talk, they will dwell on much on biodiversity and no food webs. I mean, we are so diverse. We have got large species of animals, we've got large species of plants. So they will clarify in us how do we live as we live in the cycle of life. We need one another, the living organisms, the non-living organisms, and the environments as a whole. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity and thank you all for listening to me. Once again, my name is Ninela. Thank you.